All right, the next thing you want to do, you want to make sure that your site, you want to see where you're at in terms of traffic. So this site's actually still getting a bit of traffic, 13 people per day, 20 people, about like 20 people per day. It's not bad. I mean, it's still like quasi live. It means that Google hasn't completely de-indexed it, which is okay. It actually helps us out a bit because that means Google's still crawling the site. In some situations, Google won't be crawling the site anymore, and that means you're going to have to rebuild some new backlinks to get Google to crawl it back. So think of it as a fire. We still have kind of a small little spark happening, which means that, you know, if you add more kindling, you add more firewood, you rebuild your fire, you know, it'll take up by itself. But sometimes you have websites that are completely dead and there's no more spark, there's no more flame, there's no more nothing. So you're gonna have to put, you have to reignite it. So in this case, we won't have to reignite it because we already have something that's kind of still there. So what we want to do is, obviously you want to go to acquisition, and you want to see where people are coming from, all traffic. And look, right now we still have some Google, we have a bit of StumbleUpon, a bit of Yahoo, and a bit of Bing, and then just other referrals. So these are going to be the ones that we'll be concentrating on. We know StumbleUpon still kind of works, which is nice. We know Google still kind of works, which is also really nice. And Yahoo and Bing know that we exist, so that's good. Even eHow, I'm surprised that's there. All right, so we want to see where we're at, and we want to make sure we figure out when the traffic drop happened, if there was one severe, or if it just gradually went down over time because we've been neglecting it. Like I don't know, like we've just been neglecting it. All right, so as we can see, we kind of narrow it down. It's just been neglected. There isn't a major drop. If there is a major drop, it is going to be in April 2011 around. So this would be kind of a Panda drop right around here in 2011. Let me go to April 2011. So we can see it's really gone down over time. So let's go 2010 to 2014. Okay, this will give us a better view. You can see that right around here, April 12th, 2011, is when we had our biggest drop. And that's going to give us an indication, if ever you want to go and you kind of see, that's going to give us our biggest indication. There you go, weekly shows better, of if what we need to work on and what has impacted. However, in this case, it's not really major. We don't really have anything major happening, so this is not even something that I would worry too much about. If ever you want to figure out, and this is obviously going to be Panda because Penguin didn't exist, but if ever you want to figure out, just Google the date. So you would go, what is it? April 2011, April 14, 2011. I think that was it. Google update. Was that the date? No, I think it was just April 2011. Google update. And there you go. And you could even get. There you go. See. So Google Panda. April 11th, 2011. Google Panda update. So like I was saying, and I kind of know this date because, Panda's been my life, that this is when it was kind of rolled out. So, there was an update rolled out. So that means that like our site is slightly affected by Panda. It means it doesn't have the highest quality score in the world, obviously. But it's not the end of the world. It's still getting a bit of traffic, and here is probably another update as well. So what we'll be doing is we're going to be kind of revamping the whole thing. We're going to be giving it a makeover. But the things that you want to make sure is, first of all, you want to see how your site is doing in first place. So the fact that we're still getting Google traffic is good because we're getting that, like I explained. As long as we make some changes, that means that Google will recrawl our site and give us a new score, and we're going to be able to kind of re-engage and start to turn that whole traffic around. The next thing we want to do is always, you want to go in Webmaster Tools. Webmaster Tools is a great place for everything about your website. So the first thing you want to see is search queries. Are you still getting search queries? And we are. We're still getting constant search queries, so this is good. A lot of times you want to work with what you've already got. So we're getting a lot of things for Counter-Strike, which is a video game. And we're getting stuff for gaming PC. And we're getting a lot of stuff for 2233, which is a screen. So we're getting a lot of things for that are video game related, so Counter-Strike. So we could work with that. We could start kind of use what we've got already. So if Google already thinks that your site's ranking for something, a lot of times it just makes sense to keep on going with what they think that you're ranking for and evolve from there. You don't want to completely change the focus and topic of your website. So next thing you want to do, and this is really important with older sites, is you want to go see if there's manual action. In this case, no manual action. Awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. And that just means that all the efforts that we're going to put through are not going to be hampered by some invisible, well, not a very visible penalty that's holding us back. So this is what we want to see. In most older sites, they will be like this, because a lot of older sites, even if you had a manual action, like it's probably expired. Usually they last about 2 years or so. The other thing that you want to do is you want to go into internal links, and you want to see, do you still have internal links? So no, external links to your site. There you go. You're going to click here, links to your site. You want to go more, and then you want to go download latest links, and you want to see here if you have links or not. So let's open this up. I've already opened it. And you want to order it by date and see when the last links have come in. So if you haven't had links in, let's say, 5 months, 6 months, a year, you're going to have to start rebuilding and getting some links. But here, this website just happens to have gotten a few links. These are all natural and organic, but they've happened to get like a few links as recent as May 23rd. And now, obviously, they're not excellent links. They're not really great links. But it is something. It is kind of that trickle, which is going to be essential for you to actually be able to get back on standing. So the first thing you want to do is figure out where your old site is at. So if it's still getting a few links from here, like here and there, if it's still getting a little trickle of traffic from Google, then you know that as long as you start improving the site, improving the quality of it, and you're going to start seeing results. If you don't have any links and you haven't had links in a year or 2 years, or there's nothing here, or if you're not getting any Google traffic, then once you do revamp it, you're going to need to rebuild some links. So that's going to be the major difference. And in both cases, don't get me wrong, rebuilding links and always getting the word out is always something we want to do when we're working with older sites and kind of sprucing them up. So that kind of like concludes our analytics overview. No, actually, right before I finish, one of the things, you want to do a few things. First of all, you always want to go HTML improvements. See if there's any major issues. If you have like 300 pages that they can't find or anything, this will be a really good place to start. The other thing that you want to do is you want to go in Google Analytics, and you want to go right over here in behavior where it says landing pages. So this is where people are coming into your site, and you want to see how your site is doing. So remember this bounce rate, that means that most people are leaving the site as they enter. So 88% bounce rate is actually really bad, which means we're going to have to improve on that quite a bit. So to get our Panda score and our quality score back up, we want people not to just land on the page and leave right away. So this is going to be something we're going to be improving on with links, with keeping the users on the site, a lot of things that we could do. And the other thing is, obviously, we want to see this average session duration. Now, this is sometimes not super accurate, but here it's 40 seconds, which isn't great as well. And we want to see pages per session, which is 1.27. Ideally, we want this to be over 2. 2.25 would be a good number. So the numbers we're going for, this we want it to be under 55. This we want it to be over 2.25, and this, if we could get over 2 minutes, then then we could successfully and confidently say we've transformed the site, and people are likely to want to come back to our site, and this will really make a huge difference. So those are the metrics you want to take a look at to see kind of where you stand. If in this case we stand in a bad spot, I mean this shows that the site is not good, and if these numbers were really good, then we'd be changing other things. So that stay tuned for the next segment, and I will talk to you soon.